Hello again, everyone. Happy Monday to you all. I am Gary Gatto. Welcome to P1's broadcasting coverage in cooperation with FTN of round 11 of the inaugural season. Actually, this is round 12, the inaugural season of the ISRA Xfinity Series. We come tonight from Darlington Speedway in the middle of a super tight and a super critical points battle coming into, well, one of, I guess, two wild cards. Gotcha tracks. That's as we're going to end the season here between Darlington, Homestead, Miami, and Talladega. Everyone's kind of circled Darlington and Talladega as those gotcha tracks. But we are in the middle of a tight points battle between as many as 6, but as few as 5 in this points championship. Joining me is Mark Murphy, former Indy Oval Series champion. So, Murph, you've seen the points, and I think it's maybe scared off a little bit of the competition tonight. Not a super big field. We've had some more people just recently join as the session went into qualifications, but nevertheless, a small field is an advantage to those in the lead and not those chasing the leader.
The word tonight is wall. And so
stripes,
if you,
wall.
If you hit the wall and you're elite and you're one of the guys that are among the leaders in points, of course, a small field is a huge advantage because, you know, if you take home 13th or 14th place for last, you know, for finishing last because you got in the wall early, that's a huge advantage over it having done so in a field of 25 or 30. So that is huge. The other word tonight is going to be tires, Gary. Darlington eats tires. It always has. It always will. The lady in black, hungry for some rubber. It's going to be extremely loose getting off these corners, especially anything like 10 to 15 laps into a run. Guys are going to want tires, and of course, the host with the most, Mike Rigney, has ensured that they will not have all the tires that they possibly could want. Four sets total, 3 on the wall, one on the vehicle to start the race. And so look for tires to become an issue because there's a huge fall off here too.
There are your conditions, and the reason I circled the temperature, that is now we've actually changed that to track temperature. The track temperature actually, though, is pretty pleasant at 70 degrees. So really it's just going to be this very gritty asphalt here that's going to be tearing these tires apart.
Yeah, and temperature here really doesn't matter all that much. I mean, yeah, the cooler temperatures are going to make the track itself faster, but it doesn't make it any less destructive. The reason that Darlington, Rockingham, Atlanta are all very harsh on tires is just the cement itself. Mm-hmm. So it's of course sourced locally, right?
Sure.
And the ground is very sandy. Sand, as anybody who's ever run across it knows, is very abrasive. And so it used to be in the old days, you would see cars come here and the fronts would be sand blasted almost. If you look at a picture of some of the 80s and 90s, early 90s cars here, the fronts would actually get sand blasted down because it was that sandy. It's not as bad today. I think a lot of that has to do with the technology that that they use in the track.
Gotcha.
Has been repaved, but yeah, it's so sandy that it will actually sandblast the noses of the cars.
Gotcha. Well, let's get into this thing right away, and here are the point situation. It is up on your screen. There you see it is a dead heat for first place, a tie between Michael Goodman and Sam Crow, but the tie record right now is going to Goodman because he does have a win earlier this season. Crow is technically second in the points with the tiebreaker. Then Wagner third, Callisto fourth, Evans fifth, Rigney sixth. All those guys are separated by 297 to 327. So really only about 30 points from top to bottom there, and that can change rather quickly here in the ISRA depending on what type of night you have. So that really is going to be our what we're going to be paying attention to. The top 6 here in the points championship. Now Pepto Joe is 7th. We won't rule him out, but he is a distant 7th from Rigney's 6th spot. And then we have Hernan 8th, Say Hey Lewis Hayes in 9th, and Rick D in 10th. And we are getting ready to start pacing out here. So let's get in tonight's starting lineup here from the track Too Tough to Tame here in Darlington, South Carolina. If I had my music queued up and ready to go.
That's okay. Let me know when you want me to go.
Go ahead and go.
On the pole with a lap of 160.507, Michael Goodman in the number 28. To his outside, Justin Kirby. Just a tick of the stopwatch behind, 0.023 seconds, 160.381 for the outside pole sitter, Justin Kirby. Row 2, Stretch Armstrong and Sam Crow. The third row, Greg Evans and Pepto Joe Flanagan. Rick D and the host with the most, Mike Rigney, make up row 4. Qualifying 9th, Big John Von Bareilles. 10th, Say Hey Lewis Hayes. 11th, Matt Wagner. 12th, Bradley Sexton. Shotgun on the field and not setting times. We're going to have Lionel Callisto, Hugo Gallas, and bringing up the rear in 15th, Chris Reagan in his number 19 Chevrolet. Already getting ready to come to the start, Gary. Pace car is off. Green flag is out. Michael Goodman will reach out and race away. He got a huge jump.
Yeah, he did.
The dispute is not over the lead. It's around second place. Justin Kirby on the inside, on the outside rather. Stretch Armstrong going to take him to the bottom and pick up second. Michael Goodman jumped out to a huge advantage, almost a second right off the start. You're going to have to be careful. Don't burn the tires. Stretch Armstrong slots into second. Justin Kirby third. Sam Crow fourth. Greg Evans rounds out your top 5 as they make it back to begin lap number 3.
And Sexton into the wall there. Already a Darlington stripe at lap 2. Rule set for tonight. This is 1.36 mile, kind of an egg-shaped oval. 147 laps. We'll be doing 199.92 race miles. So we'll just round it up, call it 200. We are doing the 5 sets of tires. So it'll be 4 on the car, 4 in the pits, 1 in the car. 75% fuel, 1 fast repair. Lucky dogs on, waiver rounds are on. 1 green-white checkered attempt, which we've never attempted here in league history. Not like we saw.
We don't have caution.
It's not like we saw at the Brickyard this weekend. And the pit road speed limit is 45 miles per hour. And Sexton continues to try to pound down these walls on corner exit of turns 4 and 2.
Yes, he does. And that's very easy to do. So Darlington is a track where you have to take a very odd line through the corners. You'll want to kind of enter high, get the car right down to the bottom at apex. In 3 and 4 and 1 and 2, the fast way around is actually to ride the wall.
Yeah,
because you get a better angle. And you see how Hugo Gallas and Bradley Sexton both got really loose coming off the corner. That's why you don't want to stay low on corner exit, because you wind up as you come off, you have to use more wheel because the track narrows up on corner exit on both ends. And as it narrows up, you have to use more wheel. Well, if you're coming off the bottom and trying to get back to the power all at the same time, snap loose on exit. You got to be very, very careful. Otherwise, you'll both knock down the wall and burn your rear tires, and you will not have a fun day. Darlington and Sexton gets it again.
Yeah, he's Sexton demolition tonight here in turn 2 and turn 4. Here trying to knock down that wall, and I don't blame them. They could widen this place a little bit.
Yeah. Well, there's a reason for that, as there's a reason for everything. So what people don't know is that Darlington Raceway is shaped the way it is because of a natural terrain feature. If you look at Darlington Raceway from a map, you pull up your Google Maps, you'll look at it, and coming off of what is now turn number 4 is Ramsey Pond, and that is the narrow end of the egg. Ramsey Pond was the man that owned the ground that was sold to build the track to Harold Brasington. That was his favorite fishing pond, and so he decreed that they had to build the track without touching the pond. They came up with a unique egg shape, and the rest is history. But that's why it's so narrow, Gary.
Yeah.
The other thing is, back in the olden days when the Southern 500 first started, the groove was not up on the banking. It was right around the bottom. Which a lot of people wouldn't know or wouldn't think of. You know, we think of Darlington now as, you know, having that weird modified line.
Right.
Of course, back in the day, the winner of the first Southern 500, his name escapes. I want to say Johnny Mance, but I'm probably wrong. But he ran all the way around the bottom.
Okay. Oh, caution on the racetrack is a rarity here. And Matt Wagner is down on the apron.
Yes, he is. There's some damage to the left side of that number 12. Try to go back.
Let's see what happens.
Oh, okay. So there's a dispute over real estate between Wagner and Chris Reagan. And Wagner goes up, gets the fence, and Pepto Joe had nowhere to go and T-bones the 12. So that's going to be two cars looking for fast repairs just right off the bat. And that's a bad place to be at Darlington when you're using your fast repair.
And that has championship implications right there, because that is one of our top 6 in points. Matt Wagner, I think we said he's currently 3rd. That is not a good start to this race. It's going to make a long night for him. So we are under caution here at Darlington Raceway. Only lap 10. I would imagine, well, what do you do? I would say most everyone's going to come to pit road, at least top off. But with the way that the tire limits are here, I don't think they'll be at 10 laps into this race be willing to change rubber after 10 laps, will you?
I mean, I would. If you said they've got, 3 in the pits or 4?
They're going to have, well, there goes everyone. There's half the field on pit road, so there's 5 sets of tires. 1 in the car, 4 in the pits. But you know what? Maybe change your tires now, because with the field this small, could you be looking at a rarity, on the other hand, of a caution with the field this small, and knowing how these guys race all season long.
Yeah, I mean, if it was me, I would come and get tires, especially if I was in the back. You know what I mean? You've got
Justin Kirby is the first of those guys going on pit road, as well as Lionel Callisto, Big John. Say hey, Lewis Hayes coming off pit road. Rigney, I think it's a good move. I think, I'm beginning to agree with you. I think getting new tires and everything on this caution's a good move.
Yeah, it makes sense from a number of angles. I kind of figured the minimum fuel window is 60 laps. It could be probably stretched to 70, because as you go, you're going to lift a lot more. So I kind of figured it's a 2-stopper anyway. Maybe somebody can make it 1 stop. Those guys that just pitted, they may be good now to try this with just 1 more stop, so you have that if it stays green. But there's going to be a huge advantage on tires, and I'm not just talking about lap times. They're going to cool off, and they're going to have some grip here for, Goodman, Evans, Armstrong, Flanagan, Crow, Rick D, and Chris Reagan are the guys that stayed out. They're going to have some grip here for a couple of laps. But they had already slowed Michael Goodman's fast lap 30.058. In that last lap before the caution, he'd already fallen off almost a second. Right? He was nearing the 31s. And that's just within 10 laps. So those guys with new tires, they're going to be rockets once this thing gets going a little bit. And I think they're going to be able to play that to their advantage here.
Richie Hearn in chat saying hello with his daughter on the Oregon coast. Hey, I'm familiar with that area. So nice country out there, but not really known for having strong internet signals when you're out in the wilderness there. So enjoy the time with the family. We'll set you at the next one, going green on lap 13.
Got to compliment everybody. Nobody spun their tires on that restart. That was something I was actually kind of afraid of. Michael Goodman doesn't get the big jump this time, tailed by Greg Emmons. Stretch Armstrong just a bit back in 3rd. You've got Pepto Joe and Sam Crow fighting over 4th and 5th.
Yeah, Justin Kirby's the one that we want to watch, though. He's the first with new tires.
Yes, he is. And I thought I just saw Chris Reagan kind of pancake the wall, get himself a Darlington stripe coming off the corner over there, too. So watch that. Reagan, the first car without tires, or Reagan and Rick D are going to be the guinea pigs here because they're the guys that are in the back without tires. Got a battle for the lead here. Michael Goodman, Greg Evans. Goodman the leader, Evans stalking him in second. I feel like we've seen that movie before this year too.
Yeah, we've seen that.
Pepto Joe firmly ensconced in third place. He's got a bit of a gap up front. Got a bit of a gap behind. That's good for Pepto Joe. Kirby hasn't really made his way forward yet.
Maybe he's babying those tires a little bit. Maybe he knows that he can make them last a little bit longer. The field will come to him.
Well, for 3 or 4 laps anyway, the older tires are going to be okay because they've cooled off. So they've got grip right now. It's going to be 3, 4, 5 laps down the line that you really see the advantage of the new tires. But you're right. You could be trying to baby them a little bit. They'll naturally come forward. Kirby, Callisto, Hayes, and those guys. They will naturally come forward as the run progresses.
If you are enjoying P1's coverage of the ISRA Xfinity Series on FTN, you respect the stream, please do us a solid. Make sure you support us by subscribing. And while you're at it, don't forget to smash like and click the bell so you'll miss out on future P1 and FTN programs, including next week when we come to you from Homestead, Miami. And then finally, in 2 weeks, Championship Monday at Talladega. Make sure to ring that bell. You will not miss out on notifications of those races.
I'm almost sad I'm going to miss that, Gary. Be on vacation, of course, for that one. So, don't know who you've enlisted to.
Antonio.
Antonio. Very good. So, I'm kind of sad I'm going to miss that. I'll have to tune it in while I'm on the beach. Still kind of waiting on Kirby, Callisto, and those guys to make their charge. The lap times are starting to fall off up front, though. 127 the last time for Goodwin, so he's already dropped 0.2 off of his best. Kind of same for Greg Evans, same for Pepto Joe. So those guys are starting to fall off a little bit.
We got Kirby there, and Kirby leading Callisto on by.
Something that you'll hear from people every time they come here, no matter in the real world, the sim world, and how many times have we heard it. You come to Darlington, you race the race track, not the other cars. Great example. Callisto wants to go. Kirby says, I don't think I want to do that. Lionel, you go ahead. Right? Pulled him over, waved
Here's
him
a battle for the lead. Oh, he's taking a peek now. He's there.
Now, the inside down there is not the preferred line. It's really not because of how much you got to pinch the car off coming off the corner. It's really not. You want to be up. You want to be up on the outside at least in 3 and 4. Now, you can make that move work in 1 and 2. Because you naturally kind of pull the car to the bottom as you come off the corner. There's a little dip right there that you kind of aim for when you come off the corner. So if you get on the bottom and on that end of the track, you can make it work. But over here in 3 and 4, you cannot make the bottom work. If the guy on top is determined to hold you off, all you're going to do is have to lift out early or spin the car.
Goodman, Evans, big battle for the lead. Watching from a distance is Pepto Joe. And out aqua blue, number 53 right behind him. There's P3 in the lineup. Stretch right there being dogged by Chris Reagan for 4th and 5th right there. And Sam Crow, one of our points leaders, he is right there in the battle as well. Very early going here, 22 of 147. 1 caution already. That was a 2-car incident. That was between...
Whoa. We just about had another incident. Matt Wagner and Mike Rigney are back in the back playing possum. And I don't know if Matt got tires or not, or if he just chose to get that 12 fixed, because the damage is mostly gone. But he had a moment coming off of turn 4, and I thought for sure Mike was going to pile in the back of him. And maybe there was a little bit of contact there, but they got everything straightened out and everything saved, and a testament to the skill Mike Rigney and Matt Wagner, but that was almost a mess.
And again, that would have had championship implications because Rigney is kind of the final car in the battle here for the championship in that 6th spot that really needs to have a good race today to keep him in the running for the next 2 rounds. But there you see the near miss just a few laps ago.
And I had gone back to watch those two because they were kind of running in lockstep in the back. I don't know if Matt after his...
And Evans did get around Goodman, by the way, so we do have a new leader, as Goodman now is kind of falling back into the clutches of Flanagan. But go ahead, pick up where you left off.
Well, so, I don't know if Matty Wagner got tires after that incident. Don't know if Big John did. Both of them were involved, but they've certainly both fallen well off the pace. Don't know if they use their fast repair either. Maybe they're saving that too. But both of them well off the pace, and it almost feels like Matty Wagner's playing possum.
Callisto around Sam Crow moved Callisto. He is the first of the cars that pitted at the caution. He is now up to 6th and also has the purple lap with a 29.5. Crow just really lit him on by. And
let's clarify too. Of the cars that took tires, Callisto is the only one that's moved forward. Justin Kirby, Say Hey Lewis Hayes, Hugo Gallows, none of those guys have gained position. It's only been Lionel Callisto. Makes you wonder, did they take tires or did they do gas only? Callisto 5.4 seconds in the box, Kirby 5.8, Say Hey Lewis Hayes 5.8. Seems to me they may not have. Rigney
14.4, yeah, and Sexton with a 12.3. They possibly have changed tires and got fuel. Reagan just all up there hugging that wall in turns 3 and 4.
Yep, and getting loose coming off the corner too. We're gonna watch that happen, and that is not good on your rear tires. You need the rear tires here to get launched off the corner. If you don't have that, and certainly if you're driving it loose like Callisto or Reagan, it may feel good and it may be fast for a while, but it's not going to last. You're going to heat the rears up, and then you're just going to have no grip on corner exits. So, kind of watch those guys that are doing those big power slides now. They're probably not going to like it very much later.
Watching this battle here between Callisto and Reagan.
You see how Reagan's car kicks out on corner exit? That's so unsettling when it happens, because you really, the only thing you can do to stop that is get momentarily out of the gas, and that's how you're seeing Callisto catch him. It's all on exit and down the straightaway. You see how Lionel, he's sliding, but he's not really losing control. Whereas Reagan, every time he comes off the corner, he's going to do it again here too. Yeah. You see how he wiggles, but Callisto really doesn't. Here comes Lionel. He's going to go to the bottom and move Lionel Callisto to 4th, Chris Reagan to 5th. Yeah. When you start seeing cars go sideways off the corner like that, you really can't defend the next straightaway. You're 3-4 miles an hour slow, either because of the correction or because you had to get completely out of the gas.
Well, as we do here on the channel, we cover a lot of IndyCar, or actually not on FTN, but basically, on the old channel we cover a lot of IndyCar. On the new channel we will cover a lot of IndyCar. IndyCar did race here back in the 50s under AAA and USAC's stewardship. Johnny Parsons probably is the most famous name that won here back in 1950. There was a December race here of all times. He won that race. But not a lot of famous names in the lineups for either one of those races. Although the 54 race did have Jimmy Bryan in it. Did have Sam Hanks in it. Did have Dwayne Poncho Carter's dad in it. Let's see. Troy Ruttman was also in it. Eddie Sachs. But in any contemporary, when we start bleeding over into the contemporary IndyCar drivers of like A.J. Foyt, that type of thing, that's still a little early for Foyt's days. So a lot of what we would call the old school golden age era of IndyCar racing, those are the drivers that were in the lineup when they made the visits here. There's only 4 visits, 2 in 50, 2 in 54, and that was it. And they never came back.
Although we have been here in the digital world.
We have been in the digital world. That's right. Kirby getting around Sam Crow for 6th. Sorry, as really the top 6 are now starting to get strung out a little bit.
Yeah, you're going to see that here at Darlington too. As tires wear out, guys are going to spread out. You're going to see a lot of this, where you're looking at Justin Kirby and kind of very slowly catching Chris Reagan, but then there's another second up to Lionel Callisto, who's 6-7 tenths behind Joe, 3 or 4 tenths behind Pepto Joe, who's nearly a second back at Goodman, who's 2.5 seconds back at Greg Evans, who is torching this field.
Yeah, and let's go up. Let's take a look at Evans here, who is now pulling away, and that pulled away from Goodman for about 2.5 seconds. So, if you came into this race and you wanted to schedule your stops, how would you do it? Would you do it soon as the window's open for a stop? Like, really, the first window opened really at lap about 30-ish, give or take, right around in there. Now they seem to be going a bit long, so that's on a 4-stopper, meaning that every time you stop, you're getting a new set of tires. So if we do 147 divided by 4, then we're at 36. So we're actually in that right now. So I don't think anyone's taking any takers to that strategy. So let's see, 147 divided by 3, 49 laps. That might be a more suitable strategy.
Yeah, I mean, if it was up to me and I was in this race, I would hit pit road at 49 and 98. I'd want to get off the tires as soon as the opportunity presented itself. At the same time, I don't think that they're going to fall off enough for it to be effective to have that extra stop.
Okay.
So right now, Greg Evans, his quick lap is 29.9. Right now he's running around at 31.3. So, okay, 1.4 seconds is the difference. I don't see how you're going to make that up.
And Callisto is around Flanagan, around Pepto Joe. So move Callisto now up to 3rd with the fresher tires, marginally fresher tires. Now only about 10 laps older or younger tires. He seems to have a bit of a seems to have a bit of a consistent way of handling around the corners here. He doesn't seem to be up and down and all over the place. He seems to have really found his line and his stride.
Well, you can't do that here. Mm-hmm. Right? Everybody knows when you come to Darlington, you have to be extremely under control. Watch Greg Evans, right? He's not sliding the car.
Kirby around Pepto Joe, up to 4th for Kirby. So the guys with the new tires are now starting to come forward a little bit.
Right. But if you watch Greg Evans, I mean, it's almost a masterclass. He's very smooth. He's not sliding the car corner exit. He's letting it drift up to the wall at apex. He's bringing it down very smoothly. It's kind of hitting that target. He's not like when you saw Chris Reagan, how he was wiggling the back end coming off the corner and sliding it and getting it loose. Greg Evans not doing that. He's just very, very, very smooth. He almost looks like a fast car here. Almost looks like it's running in slow motion, which is what Greg Evans' car looks like to me. Very under control.
Yeah, I definitely say those with the solid stock car backgrounds here over the Lionheart IndyCar guys are at the advantage here for sure.
Yeah, and you would expect that. This track is all about tire management. It's all about maximizing your pace over a long run. Look, I mean, during practice, I did a lap that would have put me 5th on the grid. I would have been begging for tires about lap 15. So these guys, that have the stock car experience, that understand how to manage tires here that have been here before and done it a lot, they're going to be very tough to deal with. The other thing that's going to be tough to deal with is lap traffic, and we haven't really talked about that.
Greg Evans coming. Yeah, it's there. Hugo Gallas not too far in front of him by about 2 seconds.
Yeah, and traffic can be very difficult to pass here. It's very much a one-groove racetrack. I mean, you can get under somebody and kind of force them up the hill, get a move done, but passing lap traffic here is not a given. They kind of need to let you. They kind of need to let you go. Hugo, of course, he doesn't have to let Greg Evans go. He's entitled to fight to stay on the lead lap, and he's more than capable of doing that. We do have a couple of retirements as well. Bradley Sexton and Big John Von Bareilles have called it a day. Both of them I show as parts. So 13 of the original 15 remain.
And we are probably very quickly, for those that did not pit, which is Evans, Goodman, Flanagan, Reagan, Crow, Armstrong, who were in a battle right there for position, Fallis, Rick D there. They are all going to be pitting here the next, oh gosh, what a block. I think Sam's having some problems. I think he got a little bit of a boot from Rick D, and he kind of threw a block a little bit on. I'm not sure if he threw if it was really a block. He just got loose off the corner on Hayes. But he is struggling right now. He's trying to get to that number, but he might want to think about coming to pit road sooner rather than later.
Yeah, and Sam, again, racing the racetrack. He pulls over, lets Rick D go.
And Evans around Hugo Gallas, putting Gallas a lap down. So anyways, get ready to say, pit stops, if you're not counting the caution laps here, should be starting about any time. If you are counting the caution laps, I would suspect somewhere in the 50s these guys are going to be pitting.
Yeah, if you're Hugo Gallas, Matt Wagner about to go a lap down. Hugo Gallas just did. The strategy at Darlington used to be, as soon as you went a lap down, you came down and put on new tires. Yeah. Harry Gant did that very effectively in many a Southern 500, where might not have...
Kirby around Callisto, and now Kirby on the backside of Goodman, as he's reeled him in real quick.
Yeah, Justin Kirby was 0.3 of a lap, or 0.3 quicker than Lionel Callisto.
I think he was taking care of those tires very early in that run, and Goodman getting throwing a bit of a block, going down low, protecting, but then letting him on by.
I don't think that one was a block. I think that one was just simply
to try to get out of the way. Okay,
he was trying to get out of the way, and
here comes Callisto. The same thing.
So now we're at that magic lap. This is lap 49. This is the one that opens the window for the two stop. See if anybody hits pit lane here.
Now, even if there were laps under caution, would it be just good to get in now and get off those tires now? And it's just, I mean, that's less fuel you have to put in, so it's not, your stop's not going to be as long as normal. I mean, would it be just good as soon as you hit that number, regardless if there was caution, to get in there now?
Yes, unless you're thinking that caution turned it into a one stop. So the caution hit at lap 10.
Pepto Joe, I believe, on pit road along with Chris Reagan.
Yeah, so that caution hit at lap 10.
10, yep.
Those guys that stopped have been out now for, oh golly,
the guys that stopped, Kirby's been out 39 laps, yep.
Okay, so 137 divided by 2.
137 divided by 2?
Yeah.
That's 68 and a half.
You might be able to do that in one stop. One more stop. Because, again, when I did the fuel run, I mean, it was based on a 15-lap run. Well, these guys, now they're running around almost, a second and a half
Lewis
off.
Hayes on pit road, Crow on pit road.
Yeah, so the two stop is definitely open, but I think you're going to see Kirby... You're going to see Kirby, Callisto, Rigney, those guys that stopped at that caution. At least they got gas. We don't know about tires, but at least they got gas. I would definitely say that those guys are gonna go for the one stop here. which would mean they would need to make it to at least
Michael Goodman's stretch on pit road. Also
think
on
if you
pit
made it-
road, we got Rick D on pit road.
I think if you made it to lap 80, you could do it on just that one stop. So look for that.
Evans has made his turn down pit road. Our leader, here he is. I'll turn it over to Kirby Callisto for a while. Rigney, when he passes Evans here on the main straight, will pick up third. Hugo Gallas on pit road.
Yep.
There is your leader, Justin Kirby, who I think really kind of paced himself. That took it nice and easy with those new tires. And once they started coming to him, he started moving forward. And now he's kind of put his foot in it. And really, he just needs to last another 10 more laps before really his pit window opens.
True, or he's going for the one stop.
Oh, and he is bouncing himself off the wall.
He didn't hit hard though. He just kind of.
No, it's just a keys, just a keys.
Did you ever see the old videos of the guys running around here in the 50s and 60s when the thing was Armco?
Yeah.
Where they would
Like
actually lean.
A cheese grater, yeah.
They would actually lean the car up against the Armco. That's where the term Darlington stripe came from.
Yep.
You know, they would lean the car up there so they have that stripe going all the way down the side. I've best heard Darlington described though as a bit like playing a game of carom pool, where you use the wall to kind of sight yourself around, and every so often you use it to turn the car. Bit like playing pool.
Well, those up at the front are 2 seconds slower a lap. They might want to think about hitting pit road sooner rather than later if they got to hit a number. Because here comes Greg Evans. He is currently in fifth, and he just went purple, 29.5.
Yes, he did. And well, here's the thing though: he's a lap behind, so he's going to have to do that. He's going to have to be, a second and a half a lap faster for the next, 20, 30 laps. Which, if Kirby and those guys are trying to make it in one more stop, which I think is likely the strategy.
I tell you what, I don't know about Kirby, but again, if I go into IndyCar thinking and I go into IndyCar mode with the Lionheart guys who are second, third, and fourth, I absolutely think they're doing one more stop, because I think that's how they're kind of programmed to think. Whereas the stock car guys now. Rigney will argue he's probably a stock car guy, and we all know Matt Wagner's a stock car guy.
It's a stock car ace.
Ace, right. And also Lionel Clisto also says that he has a pretty good record in stock cars. They might have, shifted their line of thinking here since they haven't been in IndyCar in a while. But the possibility of anyone going on a one more stop after, I would say, would be in that group of second, third, and fourth. Just be my opinion. The way that Kirby's kind of pulled out to a lead, I think he's trying to put as much space between himself and everybody else at the moment.
And that's true, and that's fair. It's not much of a stretch.
There's
right?
Evans right behind Kirby now as they're coming down into turn one.
It's just not much of a stretch for them guys to make it. The other thing is, even if they do wind up short, that last stop, you're still going to be a rocket ship for that last, 10, 15, 20
Sure,
laps.
yeah, you are, yeah.
Because if you have that short stint, you don't really have to care for the tires at all.
No.
You can just stand on
just send it. Here comes Evans to get back on the lead lap, and he's on it.
Speaking of getting on it, Lionel Clisto has gotten on the pit road, so he has come in at lap 61. So scratch Lionel Clisto from the attempt at one more stop. Kirby Rigney and Wagner still out there. Greg Evans has just unlapped himself, and Justin Kirby gets in the wall a little bit, but he has driven away a second and a half in that one lap.
Yeah.
Now here's the thing. Let's say that he's able to get back around and get to Justin Kirby. by the time the next pit stops come. Well, by then Greg Evans' tire is going to be wore out.
Yeah.
Kirby's going to be on fresh ones, and that's not going to happen. Justin Kirby is coming to pit road.
Okay, Rigney coming to pit road, and Matt Wagner misses. Oh, and Kirby does too. Oh, wow! Talk about threading the needle.
Both of them put it in reverse. They're going to get back down pit road. No harm done.
Wow.
For either driver. But pit road plays up here at Darlington. Both Wagner and Kirby narrowly avoid a mess. They narrowly avoid a mess. My screen just blinked.
Okay. I will pick up Kirby. Is still the leader. Now he's not. He gets passed by Evans. Evans is going to really now put a big cushion on the field. Pepto Joe moved Pepto Joe very quietly, now up to second. Chris Reagan right on him for third. Michael Goodman, our points co-leader, in fourth. And this is turning out to be a better day for Goodman as he's ahead of his chief rival, Sam Crow, who's in sixth. But Sam's not too far away from this battle. He's only a car separated by a car from stretch there. And if something happens to another, one of these top five now, Crow kind of creeps back into the picture. We'll see where Callisto is rejoined. Kirby has rejoined, and he comes out in front of Wagner. He's down a lap now. So Callisto actually managed to come to pit road and come off pit road and stay on the lead lap.
Yeah, poor Matty Wagner, he's down 2 laps now.
Yeah.
He lost a ton of time, and I kind of went back and looked, and Kirby and Matty Wags did the same thing. So as you go down on the flat, you're trying to get as much as you can get, and they're only going 75, 80 miles an hour down there.
Yeah.
But as you get closer to pit road, what people at home might not notice is it gets progressively tighter, and the entry to pit lane, you'll have to show it from in-car during the next cycle. But the entry to pit lane here is very narrow, and it's angled, right? So it's not like it's a straight in. It actually is angled off a little bit. It's really narrow, and if you're not woed all the way down when it comes time to make that extra little left to get in that opening, you're going to do exactly what both Kirby and Wagner did, which is just slide right by it, just to the right of the barrels. And so, unfortunate for both of them, they get back on the track. Get going again. Justin Kirby has just started reeling off ridiculous laps, 29,687 that last time. Not quite. Is that the best lap?
Purple Kirby is a Greg Evans at 29,546.
29,546. Okay. So close to the purple lap. I mean, he and Wagner came out together, and Justin Kirby has driven away from the stock car race in the 12 there. So definitely getting after it, using those new tires. Of course, they need to. Now they're a lap down. In Matt's case, 2 laps down.
Here is Rigney gaining around Lucifer track position, trying to get chase down the leaders to get back on the lead lap around Reagan. And let's reset the field while we're at it. We just showed the race summary, the top 5, all that good stuff, information that you need to know after about 2 pit stops now for a lot of these drivers. Greg Evans is your leader. Now Michael Goodman is second. He is leader in the points. Pepto Joe is in third. And a good finish from Pepto might actually vault him up into the last gas challengers to kind of tack on here as they get into the last 2 rounds here of this points championship. Chris Reagan is in fourth. And Reagan in the wall Here comes Stretch Armstrong. Stretch is 5th. Sam Crow, our co-leader in points, is 6th. Seeing all this happen in front of him, maybe try to pick off position. Very much, it looks like it might be an evening of drive to survive for Sam Crow. Say hey, Lewis Hayes in 7th. Lionel Callisto, one of our points leaders, in 8th. Rick D 9th. Justin Kirby 10th. Rigney on the almost in the outside looking in on the points championship. He's down to 11th. Needs to come up with a strategy to somehow get himself back on the lead lap and in contention back in this race again. We still have half a race to go here, so plenty of time. Matty Wagner also in the points, 3rd, struggling today. Had an incident where I had contact for the first caution, and then on the last pit stop, nearly blew by pit road. And that cost him time. So now he's 2 laps down trying to recover. Hugo Gallus in 13th. Bradley Sexton and Big John Van Voor Ellis in 14th and 15th showing out of the race. Sam Crow getting around Stretch Armstrong. Moves Sam Crow up to 5th.
Yeah, and this is kind of a Sam Crow kind of a track, to be honest with you. As I watched Chris Reagan once again power slide off of turn number 2. But this is kind of a Sam Crow kind of a track. You just drive very quietly. He's got by Stretch Armstrong now into 5th. Drive kind of quietly, run your own race the racetrack, not the other cars, and show up at the end. And so far, Sam has done just that. It wasn't too many laps ago we saw him pulling over and letting people go.
Right.
And here he is, he's running 5th and closing down on Chris Reagan. He can see Pepto Joe up there in 3rd too. And anytime you can see a guy, anytime you can see him and you notice you're visibly catching him, and Sam Crow is visibly catching Chris Reagan, it's a huge boost inside that car for sure.
Chris Reagan's our biggest gainer of the day. He's in 4 spots. He's up 11. Currently in 4th spot, up 11 spots for the day. By far and away the biggest gainer. The next biggest gainer after him would be Lionel Callisto with 6, gain of 6 positions. And then after that, it's Greg Evans actually up 4 spots. So those guys coming deep in the field to get up here with the leaders. Greg Evans is your leader now by 8 seconds.
Speaking of Lionel Callisto, he's going to drive around. Stretch Armstrong, so move him to 6th. He'll try to join in that battle with Sam Crow and Chris Reagan. Sam Crow has been anywhere between 1/10 to 2/10 a lap quicker on average for the last 5 laps than Chris Reagan. He was 4/10 quicker that time by. He is rapidly closing up, but he's going to have to get going because here comes Callisto, and Callisto's looking to make the move now.
You can hear as they slide through these turns on the edge of adhesion there. Those tires are just getting ready to break loose.
And it is an art form to not cook in the tires here. I was really lucky. Chris Reagan in the wall.
That's going to roll Crow and Callisto around and Stretch. That position, that contact with the wall cost Reagan 3 spots.
That was 3 for the price of 1, and now the battle between Callisto and Crow rages on.
And I think Crow just moves over.
Yes, he did. Very much. And they're on the radio.
He's not going to let Stretch go, but he's going to pull right on up and park himself in 5th, send Callisto to 4th. Now can Callisto run down Pepto Joe? There is 10 laps difference between the tires of Callisto and the rest of the leaders. So can he begin to reel in the top 3? Certainly, he has his eyes set on the aqua car of Pepto Joe here in 3rd.
He does indeed. He's also 7/10 of a lap quicker, which 10 lap fresher tires will do here, and that's the advantage of having stopped and gone 10 laps longer on that first turn.
Reagan in the wall again.
He has been. We're going to have to rename the turn 2 wall.
Oh, I think he's trying to come to pit road, and
yeah, that was a hard lick for Chris Reagan. Most of the time, he's just been kind of bumping it. That time, he actually hit it pretty hard. And with these cars, they're pretty durable. But when you see him hit and kind of stick up in the wall like that, you got to worry about breaking a toe link. Is the huge thing. We'll watch him pull it on a pit road here, kind of overshoots his stall a little bit. He's going to get the fast repair. Going to get himself 4 fresh good years and get back on the road. But I think that one did some damage.
Yeah, I think it did too. Back up front, there is Greg Evans now, leader by 10 seconds over Goodman. Goodman all by himself. There is Pepto Joe, and now we got a battle for third.
Yeah, Callisto is all over Pepto Joe.
Oh, Joe into the wall. This is going to set up Callisto, drives the car down, just turns it, gets to the quarter panel, going to race down the front stretch, and he's got the position going in the 1 and move Callisto up to third.
Absolutely.
That was a quick battle.
It was. Callisto, by the way, is absolutely the second fastest car on the track right now. The only one that is faster than Lionel Callisto
is Greg Evans?
Justin Kirby.
Oh, Justin Kirby?
Justin Kirby, yeah. Justin Kirby, who there may be a little bit of red mist under the visor for Justin Kirby, although he is back on the lead lap, so that's good. But Callisto definitely faster than Michael Goodman. It's going to take him a few minutes to get there, but he's definitely faster.
No, it's right on.
And then,
we haven't done a lot of the on-car camera stuff, so we'll watch Callisto as he tries to run down our points leader, Michael Goodman.
now that's kind of vintage Lionel Callisto coming off of turn 4 there. Working the hands back and forth, sliding the car a little bit. I would wager if we got on board with Greg Evans, we wouldn't see that. But you can also kind of hear it. Listen at him when he comes off the corner up here. You hear it pick up RPM there?
Yeah.
When it came down the hill. So you don't realize it, again, just kind of watching it on TV, but you drop out of the corners here. So not only are you turning the wheel hard left when you come off, but there's also a hump, and then you come down off that hump and it just wants to turn you loose.
Yeah.
Callisto 0.2 faster than Goodman that time. In the wall a little bit there. But still coming, and that doesn't really hurt you here. If you just kind of nick it a little bit, it doesn't really hurt anything. It's when you hit it hard and it brings you back and you keep hitting it like Chris Reagan did. That's when it starts to really hurt you. Just a little nicking will hurt anything though. Especially if you square it, right? There's an art to hitting the wall of Darlington, and Callisto seems to have that art down for sure.
There is Goodman as that car shape is getting bigger and bigger and bigger. Pretty soon he'll be there.
Yeah, he's still got time. He'll probably be there about 5 laps or so. The other thing is we're getting on closer to when Goodman and Evans and those guys need to come to pit road. They've been out 35, 36 laps.
They went 50 laps, 51 for Goodman, 52 for Evans, their first time. So we expect those guys just past the 100 lap mark here in about 10 laps or so.
Yep. And that would be their final service, of course. Goodman in the wall a little bit.
There you go. You see that an image of that That Mustang is now big in the picture.
Yeah, it's coming, Gary. I think I might have underestimated Lionel Callisto by 3 laps because I said it taking 5 laps 2 laps ago, and now he's there.
Well, now he's there. But catching's one thing, and as they say, passing's another. We think he's going to be able to pass.
Oh, I think Goodman will pull over and let him go. They're kind of on slightly different strategies anyway. Goodman has to know. I mean, these guys all have, they all have race laps up. He knows Callisto's got 8 lap better tires. Not really much.
This big run off of 2, and he goes to the inside. And Callisto stays on the outside and gets the position going into 3. Move Callisto up 1 more.
Yeah, flames coming out of the pipes down the straightaway there for Michael Goodman. Just pull over and let him go.
Now, can he tear into Evans any?
Well,
Evans has
Evans
himself basically a half a lap lead, or not a half a lap, about a third of a lap lead.
13 seconds, so just a little bit under a half a lap. But Greg Evans is slightly faster than Lionel Callisto is right now.
Wow, that's interesting. Well, they're on different tire strategies. Callisto has tires that are 8 laps to the better.
They are. But Greg Evans was 1/10 of a second faster that last lap. And so, the newness of the tires really isn't everything. It's
how
very
you
much
take care of drive the line and take care of them there.
Yeah, so, we saw Callisto, he's not doing the full Lionel, right? He's not completely sideways coming off the corner, but
he's fighting the car a little bit. If we go right on Greg Evans, he is completely smooth going through the corner. You're seeing the wheel turn very little. You don't hardly hear any tire noise. He's not unloading the steering wheel to the right coming off the corner. You don't hear the RPM jump when he comes down off that hill. Just very, very, very smooth. I have no doubt that Lionel Callisto is driving the car harder. It's just that, Greg Evans looks slow, and slow around here is fast.
I'm definitely working that pedal.
Yeah. But just see how smooth he is.
Yeah.
It's a marked difference between Callisto and Evans in style, and we've seen that at different places. But that's going to show up here, especially with the tire situation. It's going to show up here a huge amount. Now, it's probably not going to matter at Talladega, but it matters here for sure.
Well, we're at 50 to go. Coming up to lap 100 very shortly. Thanks for joining us. Make sure to smash that like button. Subscribe to the channel if you're not done so already. Subscribe to the good folks at FTN. We have a bunch of other NASCAR events here on iRace, including they do follow the Road to Pro qualifiers. Check them out. If you subscribe to the channel, then you'll get notified of when those broadcasts go up and you can watch them. This is our kind of almost our swan song here on the channel. We have this week, next week, and then Talladega. And then in 2 weeks after Talladega will be the start of the next truck season. And we will move that over to P1. And that is slated for August 12th, Monday, August 12th. Start time might be a little bit later. So it won't be 9:35, might be 9:45 to give the guys on the West Coast a little bit more time to get engaged here with these races and to help. There we see, I think that was Pepto Joe coming off of pit road for his final. I think it might be his final stop.
Could be. Definitely would definitely would fit. We are working now. Greg Evans crosses the line to start lap 100.
Yep.
I got to give a shout out to Greg Evans though. That is one sharp looking race car. When you look at that car, that is Darrell Waltrip circa 1992, 1993, the Western Auto colors.
Yep.
Awesome to see that.
Even I know that. I'm an IndyCar guy. Like, I know that's Darrell Waltrip. But yeah, the start of the truck season will be a little bit later start, but expect that around August 12th. No schedule yet, but it will be on P1. You can check us out at P1 at youtube.com/@P1broadcasting.com or .com. Excuse me. Let's try it one more time. youtube.com/@P1broadcasting. And subscribe to the channel, ring the bell, and you'll be notified of when our races are going up. There's quite a few are, as a matter of fact. I already scheduled a couple today of a new series, IndyCar series we're going to cover starting in September. Of course, we will cover the start of Season 4 of 2024 of the IndyCar Oval Series. That will shortly start be going up there. And then once we know the schedule for the ISRA Truck Series, Season 2, those races will start being posted there as well. But we do want to thank the fine folks at FTN for hosting us for these last half of the season. Really would appreciate it. Without them, this would not have been possible. Damn Crow, and here comes our leader to pit road.
Yes, he is. Now, see how
I was watching Sam Crow, and Sam Crow's on pit road as well. But Evans is now coming off of corner 4 onto pit road here for his final stop.
Did you see how Evans...
Yes.
Did you see how he didn't come in nearly as tight as Wagner and Kirby did?
Yes.
Kirby, by the way, nice recovery for him. He's moved up to third now with the wholesale pit stops. Of course, he has yet to make his. We expect him in about another 10 laps. But
yeah, same with Callisto.
Evans, so Evans, when he came to pit road, he was way out wide and then got on the brakes as he was out wide and angled his car in.
Yeah.
Whereas Wagner and Kirby, they were trying to brake and turn at the same time. And there's not very much grip down there. And that's why this went wide. Evans now off pit road. You got to be careful. There's not much grip down below that yellow line for sure. Not that he really has to worry about it, Gary. He can take his time and get back out there. He had a huge lead. He'll come back out in third. And nowhere close to losing a lap is how much of a lead he had. He comes out.
I'll see if he sets another purple lap here. He's at 29.546 early in his run last time. We'll see if he sets another one now.
But barring the late caution, that might be the win right there. Came out without going a lap down. Once again, class of the field speed. He was purple for just a few moments there. Don't know if he's going to get there.
Nope, 29.797. Let's see if it gives him one more lap better here, where the good of those tires is worn off.
It is. The monitor is flashing purple. Don't think he's going to have quite...
Oh, purple there in 3 and 4. Let's see what he comes off the corner.
540, so that is going to be a
524, so that's a purple right there.
Yep.
You saw the purple lap.
So Greg Evans standing on the gas here at the end. He's got 41 laps to go. Don't really have to take care of the tires as much now that you've got the shorter run. Guys that are not going to have to take care of tires at all, Lionel Callisto and Justin Kirby. Callisto has just hit pit road, by the way, so he's going to give up at lap 106. Justin Kirby is the only car, I believe, that has not made his final stop. Well, Chris Reagan is on an alternate deal. Mike Rigney has yet to come to pit lane as well. So make Kirby and Rigney the only two that really haven't stopped.
Rigney, and then Reagan trying to knock down the turn, the wall there again, going into turn 2 or exit of turn 2.
You hit the wall here, you're in some pretty good company for sure.
It's like the Wall of Champions at Montreal.
Well, the difference between the Wall of Champions at Montreal and the wall at Darlington is that every champion hits the wall here. The one in Montreal.
Here
is
comes
only
Kirby
hit by
pit road.
some.
Pit road on Kirby here.
Yep. So he's done. That's
So
going to
this
hand the
will
lead
be
back to
his-
Greg Evans.
Yep, there'll be his final stop as well. Rigney still needs to stop. Wagner still needs to stop. They are well down in the order.
Well, what they need is a caution.
Yeah.
You know, Wagner's sitting out there. He's going to go as long as either he's still out there and not a lap down, because he needs a caution. He needs a caution in the absolute worst way. And he's gone down a lap, and now he's down pit road anyway. So he's going to kind of give that up too.
Like Rigney might be on pit road. Yep, Rigney on pit road. Final stop here.
All right, so that means everybody has stopped except for Chris Reagan, who is on a very much alternate strategy. He's been out for 30 laps, 30 laps.
Yeah, he might need a splash and go at the end there.
Well, it's possible he could make it. Now, his tires aren't going to like him very much, but it's possible he could make it on gas. If he tries that, I bet he'll wish he stopped. But theoretically, he could make it on gas.
Well, once again, if you're just joining us, you're watching P1's coverage of round 12 of the ISRA Xfinity Series on FTN, coming to you from Darlington, where, surprise, surprise, Greg Evans is your leader. Currently leads with just over 30 to go. Make sure to smash that like button, subscribe to the channel so you don't miss out on the next race. Also, don't forget your commentary team. We do this for donations. We do this for free for the league. And we rely on your donations to help make ends meet here for subscriptions and graphics and the whole 9 yards. So if you haven't done so already, please donate to the program. Our GoFundMe link is in the description. The link to our campaign's in the description. And throw a few bucks our way if you can. We certainly would appreciate it. Every little bit helps. But thanks for joining us here again. We're in the last stages here of a 200-miler of the ISRA at Darlington before we move off to the final 2 rounds of the season in this championship, Homestead and then Talladega in 2 weeks.
Absolutely. While you were talking about those things, Lionel Callisto not only set the purple lap, but he has also moved past Pepto Joe, so move Lionel Callisto to 5th. He'll set his sights on Sam Crow. And he's got Crow and Reagan in pretty close contact, and I believe they've got Goodman there too. They're all within about 3 seconds of one another. But Callisto is coming.
Yeah, we're watching right now. He's so much faster in the middle of the corner than those cars in front of him. And Gala's getting out of the way. Good etiquette on him. Good eye on him. Those guys will remember that.
Speaking of good etiquette, I did also notice the stock car ace Matty Wagner, rather than have Greg Evans lap him, actually took a self-imposed drive-through penalty to get out of the way. So good on Matty Wagner. I know he's not having the day he wanted, but sportsmanship is still paramount, and he did the honorable thing, brought it down pit road and let everybody go around him. Callisto has now made it past Reagan, and is right on the tailpipes of Sam Crow. That would be for 3rd.
Sam trying to get another podium here. Oh, is Reagan in the wall in turn 2?
We need a Reagan in the wall jar where every time he gets the wall,
we need like a counter or something that.
We'll have to talk to our graphics people about that. Next time we come to Darlington, we'll have a wall hit counter.
And then every time he hits it, then it needs to make a sound. So make it like a clown horn sound or something. You got to make it funny, right?
That's right. Nothing funny about Lionel Callisto driving through this field, though. When he came out, he was 7th or 8th. And he has just driven past everybody. He's got 3.9 seconds up the road to Michael Goodman. He's definitely catching Goodman at the rate of 0.4 a lap. He was 0.6 quicker than Greg Evans on that last circuit. So he's coming. Does he have the time? We've got 29 laps to go here.
And Callisto needs to get around some lap traffic as well, at least one car. That is Stretch Armstrong. Stretch is fortunately back to 11th now, but he's about 0.7 in front of Callisto, so Callisto still needs to get around him.
Chris Reagan's tires, I think, are about shot. He's on lap 38. He just gave up a position to Pepto Joe, and is quickly going to fall into the clutches of say, hey, Lewis Hayes here too. That's going to happen within the next. Within the next few laps, and it wouldn't surprise me
To see Reagan hit pit road here within the next 5 laps or so. He's really, really struggling on those older tires. Meanwhile, watching Lionel Callisto just absolutely reeling. He's reeling in Stretch Armstrong. And remember how I said earlier, Callisto, you know, he was still doing the slidey thing, but he wasn't going full Lionel. He's not sliding that car at all anymore. On new tires, that thing looks like rock stable, which is good. It means you're not hurting. So wouldn't this be the time of the race where, like in the open wheel broadcast, you guys do your picks as to who's going to win, or did y'all stop doing that?
Well, I would say at this point, it's really Evans' race to lose at this point. There he is. He is in the middle of some lap traffic in front of him, quite a bit, as a matter of fact. 3 cars within about 2.5 seconds that he still needs to get around, including Justin Kirby, who is trying to battle for position with say, hey, Lewis Hayes for 6. That is a battle for position happening right in front of your leader.
You widen that camera angle out a little bit. Michael Goodman just clobbered the wall. He hit it pretty hard off of 2 over there. Really lost a lot of time, and that's going to bring
Callisto's there. Yeah,
well, he's on the back of they've got Stretch Armstrong between them, but Callisto has steadily been reeling in Goodman, but Goodman hit that wall. I mean, he hit it a ton, and in the sim, when you hit any wall in any car, it kind of grabs you.
Yeah, you're right.
I don't know if that's the anti-Ross Chastain programming or what, but it kind of grabs you, and it can be difficult to get off of it. And that certainly is kind of what happened to Goodman there. He kind of pancaked it, got into it, and it kind of sucked him in a little bit. As a result, Stretch Armstrong is now right on his rear bumper, and right on the rear deck lid of Armstrong is Lionel Callisto.
Yeah, we're riding along with Callisto. Callisto's going to get a good launch off the corner here. Stretch is not going to make the pass easy for Callisto.
No, and you think that Armstrong might? I mean, he
good run off a corner 2. Go to the inside. He's going to pass Stretch, and now that brings him up to and direct in contact with Michael Goodman for 2nd. Almost thought of taking a run on the high side, backed out of it a little bit. Now he's back in it down the front stretch. He'll probably follow him through 1 and 2, and then take a launch down the back stretch. We'll see. That's what he did last time. Let's see what happens.
Yeah, good move for Stretch to get out of the way there too.
Here we go.
Not for position.
Look
He
at
is
this
3
run.
laps down. Here he comes.
Oh.
See, now that's deceptive. I think Goodman meant to get out of his way. And Callisto followed him. Now he's on the radio, and I bet he's saying, I'm trying to get out of your way. And Callisto responds, can't hear him. I can see that they're keying the mics, though.
We'll see this time. Another run, a good run off of 2. That's where he gets his good runs. And yep, he just moves over. That's exactly what you were talking about. Looks can be deceiving. Don't judge a book by its cover. Oh, and Callisto overruns the turn 3 entrance and smacks the wall between 3 and 4. But he is still going. So now move Callisto up the second. 15 seconds behind Evans, 19 to go. I don't think he's going to have enough time. He needs to have a caution happen here late in the race in order to make this a bit more of a shootout. But like I said, I think it's Evans' race to lose at this point.
It is indeed. Speaking of races lost, Chris Reagan and the stock car race, Matty Wagner, they have both called it quits. Hugo Gallas.
Yeah, Hugo Gallas might actually. I don't think he's going to get another position on him. With what
I
we
don't
have
think
left.
he's got. No, he's 22 laps down to Wagner.
18 to go.
18 to go. So he's not gonna pick up any more spots. Not gonna pick up any more spots. Now Stretch is gonna take a look down the inside of Goodman. Goodman not gonna give way to the lap car, of course, but the battle for those two rages on. They've been racing each other, although Stretch is 3 laps down. They've been racing each other pretty hard for about the last 15 laps.
Well, let's see if Sam Crow can catch him, because that will leave keep the podium stretch alive for Crow. There is time, and he isn't that far away. Well, wait a minute. He might be that far. He might be pretty far away. Let's see.
He's not too far away.
He's not that far away. Yeah.
Second and a half from Armstrong, and then Goodman is just on the other side of Stretch. And that's something too that you can't really underline enough. It's not that Armstrong, I don't think, is trying to race Goodman or pass him. I just think he's there.
Yeah.
But because he's there, he might be forcing Goodman to run his stuff a little bit harder than he wants.
Well, and so Goodman should let him go then, if that's the case. I mean, if I was in Stretch's spot, I just know that Goodman is among the points leaders, and maybe I can learn something by following him.
Oh, true. No, I'm not saying that at all. What I'm saying is I think I think Stretch is trying to follow him. I don't think he's not trying to pass him. He's just trying to follow him, maybe learn something. Maybe learn something. Maybe, I mean, heck, I've done that just to have somebody to be in contact with. Because otherwise in a field that's spread out, it can feel like you're running, just a private test sometimes.
Yeah.
So, sometimes it's helpful just to have another car out there around you. But whatever the reason, maybe it forces you to run your tires a little bit harder than you want. And that being said, that's allowing Callisto to catch him. Now, Sam Crow.
Now we just see Stretch get into the wall right in front of Crow. So Crow will be very shortly on the bumper of Stretch. Stretch taking a very passive line going into corner 3.
Yeah, and no doubt I think Stretch Armstrong will let Sam Crow go as soon as he gets there. It's just a matter of getting there, which is just a matter of time. But he's not really made up a huge amount on Goodman either. When we started following this, Goodman was 1.7 seconds ahead. Now it's 1.2, 1.3 seconds, and it's fairly stable. Crow's not gaining. He's not gaining chunks of time.
Crow is among the championship leaders on strength of really just good finishes, good consistent finishes. No wins, but good consistent finishes has brought him up to the precipice of a championship. I'm sure he would like a win this season, but frankly, any way to get the championship job done at this point, with or without a win, is suitable in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, it's all about piling up points. And, if you can't win, finish second. If you can't finish second, be on the podium. If you can't be on the podium, salvage whatever you can, because every one of those championship points is valuable. And every point counts. And so, Crow knows, hey, I'm probably not going to win here. Probably don't have the juice to catch Callisto, but if I can finish this off by catching Goodman.
Getting loose off a corner two there for Crow.
Yes, he is, but if I can catch Goodman, that's one more point, and if I've got to back out of it, I've got a 5 second cushion over Justin Kirby, well, that'll work out just fine too. We are under 10 laps to go, Gary, and I have to once again compliment these guys. We're going to be out of here in an hour and a half, and that's amazing.
Only one caution, yeah.
That is absolutely amazing. For what is essentially, I believe, a 200-mile race.
Yeah, only one caution. Well, I will give us an update on our numbers in the post-race, but still, we're looking at more than 90% of the race under green flag conditions. Well over 90%.
And believe it or not, in the sim, you tend to have that more often than not at Darlington. Just because of the way iRacing triggers the cautions. It's only going to throw the yellow if the incident is in the racing surface.
Yeah.
Well, the whole flat area isn't considered the racing surface. So you don't see the yellow come out a lot here because, if a guy crashes and they get down against the inside wall, well, that's not the racing surface and the sim doesn't trigger the caution flag. So combined with, the absolute skill of these guys to not have cautions anyway, with a track that, the sensors, if you will, don't trigger them very often. We've had a really clean and green race thus far.
Here is your leader, right around a bunch of lapped cars on the tail end of the lead lap. You can get around Hugo there. Now he's looking at Pepto Joe. That's the last car on the lead lap. Pepto Joe with a strong race today. And with 6 to go, I would try to fight this as long as I could, knowing that you go 200 miles at Darlington and then just this close to the end fall off on the lead lap, but he lets him go. So move Evans on by. Now 5 cars on the lead lap. Kirby is the last car on the lead lap, followed by Crow, Goodman, and Callisto.
Yeah, and Evans in the lead of his own. I mean, Callisto's a half a lap behind. Goodman's just a couple of seconds behind Callisto. Obviously, Sam Crow is right there. Kirby's.
Crow is now within less than a second of Goodman as we are now at 5 to go. Does he have time? This is for the bottom step of the podium. Remember, Crow's got a bit of a podium streak going on. He's certainly well within a streak of top 5s he's been on as of late. 4 to go.
And look who's re-entered that picture. That would be Stretch Armstrong is once again.
And there's right Kirby here. Kirby's not too far out of this one either.
No, he's not. That bump that you see on the screen just about half a straightaway back is Justin Kirby. So he's definitely trying to join this battle. Don't know that he has the time. He's definitely faster, half a second that last lap. But he's definitely going to run short of time here.
Three to go. Greg Evans joined us in Charlotte. He won Charlotte, Dover, New Hampshire. Then the league some of these drivers started to figure him out. Here goes Crow around as we flash out there. We lag out now. He might have time to catch Goodman here. 2 to go. The league kind of figured him out a little bit at Atlanta and Kansas. But Greg returned back at Bristol. And strong finishes since then, including last week at Vegas. Going to go for yet another win here. 1 to go.
That number 7 machine is just so silky smooth as he drives through turn 1 and 2, down on the white line. He'll exit up next to the wall. He has Mike Rigney, the host with the most, directly in front of him. Absolutely no effort from Greg Evans to make the pass. Brings it up against the wall. He'll come off of turn number 4. The flash bulbs pop, and Greg Evans will win the Darlington 200 here in the ISRA.
6th win this season.
It's becoming kind of a regular thing. Lionel Callisto is just now off of turn 4.
Yeah, we're watching him.
He'll come to the line and take second. And now we wait on that battle between Goodman and Crow. And here comes Crow! No.
Oh, so close. We saw it coming. Wow.
And Justin Kirby did get there.
He did.
He was just 4/10 off. We kind of slept on Kirby. I said, man, I don't think he's got the time. He got within several car lengths of that battle at the end. But what a race for the final podium spot. Michael Goodman prevails over Sam Crow, but those guys went after it pretty hard, for sure, for that 3rd place spot. So good on them. Good on Justin Kirby for the recovery. Remember, it wasn't the first pit stop. He overshot pit road. We saw him driving down the front stretch in reverse.
Yeah. All right, let's get in here. The final standings. For some reason, music's not queued once again. I queued it before. I think I might have closed it accidentally. Here we go. Oh yeah, there we go. There's the beat. Let's get in the final standings here. Greg Evans with yet another win there. P1. Lionel Callisto runs him down, but finishes 17 seconds behind. But a good finish for Callisto. He improved himself 11 spots, and that's going to help him greatly in this points championship. We'll see how quickly the points are updated. Michael Goodman, this might be the race that actually gets him the championship. We don't know. We look back at those key moments. This might be the one. He just edges out Crow at the finish line. Crow was coming. Crow's going to continue to string of top 5s, but not the string of podiums. He finishes 4th. Justin Kirby, as you mentioned, with the drive of recovery today, finishes 5th. Pepto Joe in 6th. Say Hey Lewis Hayes 7th. Rick D in 8th. Rigney in 9th. Stretch in 10th. Moving on, Chris Reagan 11th. Matt Wagner with a race he'd rather forget in 12th. Hugo Gallus 13th. Bradley Sexton, a rough day in 14th. And Big John also another rough day in 15th. And that is our 15-car field.
Yes, it is. You don't get many bad days in series like this with the level of competition. You know, we came in here with 3 or 4 guys who were definitely in the hunt for that championship. I think we can safely say there are probably 3 now. Greg Evans, Michael Goodman, and Sam Crow might have to think about Matt Wagner and Mike Rigney having dropped off of that list. And Lionel Callisto puts himself right back in the discussion as well.
We'll see when they update the points here. Hopefully during the interviews. And let's take a look here on the interview room. Let's get some guys in here to talk to, shall we?
See Greg Evans down there. Lionel Callisto is in the general chat. I don't actually see anybody else in the Discord.
I don't see Michael. But we'll bring up Lionel first here. And if Michael pops in, we'll bring him up next.
Of course. Let's drag.
And here he is, Lionel Callisto in the booth. Heck of a drive, my man. We didn't think that this was going to be one of your better racetracks, but up 11 spots, and we know you like them loose and kind of hang on there at the end of your runs, and you didn't really seem to have the handling problems you've had in the past. Talk about your race.
I mean, it was a struggle, but I mean, it was fun. I love racing this track. I think I was just overdriving the car. I was killing my right fronts on the long run. I'm more of a short run, medium run, but I just can't keep up with Greg on the long run. He's just silky smooth on the track. I'm just when I'm on the long run, I'm just struggling. I'm just kind of overdriving the car, and then I'm tapping up the walls. Not a good look.
Go ahead, Murph.
Tell you what, second place is a great look for you, Lionel. Well done. When you saw that, you were one of the only people that pitted, and by far the most successful of those that pitted under that yellow flag at lap 10. Did you take tires? Because there was such a short time on pit road. So did you take tires, or was it just fuel only in an attempt to make that first run a little bit longer and gain the advantage at the end of the race?
Didn't take tires. Since I guess it was 10 laps in. I thought I would just keep old tires on, just make it last, and just get it top off from fuel. See if that'll help me on the long run on the full fuel mileage. I know Kirby also did the same thing. I thought he's going to be the one end up winning the race, but yeah, I think Greg did a good job on staying out there and saving fuel at the same time. That was a great race for him.
Yeah, Kirby had a bit of a problem coming to pit road, I think, on that second stop. Missed the entrance and had to back up, and that's ultimately what kind of cost him, was hemorrhaging all that time on pit road and allowing you on by and a couple others, but he did recover pretty well. So with the finish, and with Wagner not having a great day, and there it is, points are now updated. You are 1 point behind Michael Goodman, going into Homestead with 2 races to go, in a very similar position where you were in the Truck Series. How do you feel about this championship now, knowing that you're just 1 behind Goodman? And now, keep in mind, if you tie Goodman, Goodman has, you both have 2 wins, so I'm not sure what the third tiebreaker is. But you have 2 wins. Goodman has 2 wins. You have 6 top 5s. He has 6 top 5s. You have 9 top 10s. He has 12. I don't know what the third tiebreaker is, though. Maybe bonus points. I don't know. But knowing that you're 1 point behind going to 2 races ago, how does that impact the way that you focus on these next 2 races, knowing that you got by one of the wild cards, which is Darlington, and still there's a whole other wild card to go, which could really screw things up, and that's Talladega. How do you look at these next 2 races?
It's going to be pretty exciting, honestly. Looking forward to it. I'm really excited, actually. It'll be down to the wire. If it goes down Townbreaker, maybe we should just do I don't know, Rally X or some trucks off-road or something like a wild card as an overtime. I don't know, but it's pretty exciting. Looking forward to it.
I like it. Volkswagens at Phoenix Off-Road.
There you go.
Shout outs, friends, family, sponsors. Anyone to say hi to before we let you go, and got a week to prepare for Homestead?
The usual. Everybody is involved with the league, all the racers, the guys in the booth. Yeah, thanks to everybody. Sure, I have nothing else to say, but yeah, looking forward to next week.
We are too. Congratulations on the P2. 11 spots improved today, and now within eyeshot of a second championship, first in the Xfinity Series after coming off the inaugural championship in the Truck Series. We will see you next week.
That was good. Thank you, guys.
And there is Michael Goodman. He is in the interview waiting room. We'll bring him up in here. Ooh, Michael Goodman hung on there at the end. A close one with going to be one of your chief point rivals. You get one over there at the very end over Sam Crow. But talk about your race, other than that the very close finish at the end. Looks like you just kind of hung out in the top 3 all day long.
Oh, I'm sorry. I was I disconnected. I didn't hear what you said. I just heard the back end of it.
Don't worry about it. Just talk about your race.
I mean, what I caught from you was that I was just basically just doing lap after lap after lap. That's what it seemed like. I was just trying to save tires, try to save fuel because my um, fuel strategy the last couple of races hasn't been very good. If anything, it's stunk. So I had to either make an extra pit stop or sacrifice a lot of performance to make it. And then that caution, when it came out, took that out of the equation. So then basically it was just me trying to save tires and run the fuel tank dry.
Go ahead, Murph.
Yeah, so talk about that battle at the end with Sam Crow, and kind of let me in a little bit on Armstrong's presence. Was he helping you or hurting you, or did you even know that Armstrong was there being laps down?
No, I knew he was there. Did he help me? I don't know. I guess he did, maybe unintentionally. I mean, because once he backed off, Sam caught me in like a lap and a half, or who knows? Maybe Sam was just saving his tires and figured, he'd make a massive run towards me and stuff like that. I'm really not sure, but if he would have, tried to pass me, I would have let him go. I wasn't going to, hold him up or anything.
Gotcha. So going into this last two races of the season, the points are out. You have a 1-point lead over Callisto, a 2-point lead over Sam Crow now, and a 8-point lead over Greg Evans, who each one of those drivers has the ability to win a race here in the next two races. I think everyone's looking at Greg, but anything can really happen when you get to Talladega. Your outlook on these next two races, is it go all out, let's try to win a race, or let's race these chief competitors and try to finish ahead of them? What are your thoughts?
My thoughts or reality? What do you want?
Give me your thoughts. What are your plans?
Well, my plans is that I'm going to try to do what I did tonight. I mean, I'm going to try to I'm going to try to lead a lap. I'm going to try to go incident free. And wherever position I finish in. But as far as these type of tracks that we're going to next week, I'm probably going to struggle or be mid-pack for it. So I think my thoughts is that I'll be where I'm supposed to be. Put it that way. It's maybe top 10. I finish every race in the top 10, so I'm going to say I'll be a top 10 driver.
All right, fair enough. Shout outs, friends, family, sponsors. Anyone to say hi to before we let you go?
No, again, as usual, I just want to give you guys a thank you for doing the broadcast and stuff like that. I want to give Mike Rigney, kudos for running this league and recruiting the right individuals and stuff like that. And I also want to give a thanks to the, all the competitors that show up week in and week out. And even when they don't show up, and they do show up sporadically, at least they show up in a professional manner, and race.
Oh, we definitely agree with you there. Well, congratulations on the P2, holding on to the points lead. 2 more rounds to go before we get to, or actually 1 more round to go before we get to Championship Monday in 2 weeks at Talladega. Who will still be there? I think Michael Goodman will be one of them. Congratulations, and we will see you next week.
No, I appreciate it. Thanks, guys. You have a great night.
No problem. You too.
The same, boss.
All right. And, I will look at the points here a little bit deeper. 364 Goodman, 363 Callisto, 362 Crow, 356 Evans. Wagner not really out of this yet. He's in 5th. 352 Wagner. Rigney, 326. I want to say now it's definitely within the top 5. I think Rigney is now looking looking outside in. The finish today, I don't think really helped him. I don't think it really helped Wagner, but I think Wagner, by doing so well earlier in the season and being so high in the points, I think it has helped him at least remain, I think, within a shot of it for one more week. And he needs a really good finish next week at Homestead in order to maintain pace with these top four, because these top four always seem to be pretty consistent in where they finish.
Yeah, and Talladega is that huge wild card that I don't think we can underline enough. I mean, these guys, they're all excellent drivers. They're all very safe. They're all awesome to watch. But Talladega and Daytona tend to have incidents that aren't really anybody's fault. They're also going so fast at those tracks that netcode becomes involved, and sometimes it's just not avoidable. And so, even more so than today, Talladega is the wild card. And if you're within 10, 12 points, you got a shot. You know what I mean? You get a big one and it wipes out, 2 or 3 of your chief competitors.
Yep.
You've got a shot. So
well, here he is, after his 6th win of the season. Greg Evans tamed the track that's allegedly too tough to tame tonight here at Darlington, and you made it look easy, although I'm sure when I tell you that, you're going to say, nope, it really wasn't that easy. So go ahead.
Yeah, man, it's easy. It's hard to make it look easy, but it never really is in the cockpit. You're always fighting something there. You're trying to run a fast lap, stay everybody's way, not hit the wall. Man, it was just a crazy night for that first caution, and the Lionel and Justin pitted. I told my guys, I said, I think we made the wrong decision. I think we should have pitted there, and I really wasn't sure. And I thought for sure they took tires, but whenever we started the next run, they didn't really come flying past us, and I told them, I said, I'm not sure they took tires.
When we talked to Lionel, he said that he took fuel only.
That's kind of what I thought, because if they'd have took tires, that'd have probably been the right call to do, because that'd have put you way ahead of us, and we'd have had no chance of catching back up unless we had a caution. But thankfully, they didn't think of that or didn't do that, so it kind of helped play out in our favor. But yeah, it was just a heck of a race, man. I told the guys, I said, we're just basically just racing the racetrack. Don't get yourself in too much trouble, and try to be there at the end. And the strategy played off for me, and just had a really good car and was able to bring it home P1.
Good, Murph.
Yeah, I said during the race that you looked really slow on TV, which usually means you're going really fast. So I mean that with the utmost compliment, Greg. You didn't seem to have the tire fall off that many of your other competitors did. And I noticed that corner exit here can be challenged for most, but you never seem to really get loose or unload the car coming off a 2 or 4. Is that a line thing? Is it a throttle thing? How do you avoid the car kicking loose coming off the corner at Darlington?
Well, I think a lot of it's throttle control. And I told some of the guys that in our channel, I made a adjustment on the offset of the steering wheel, to kind of put. I have a feel that I want to have for where the steering wheel's index going down the straightaway. And they made that adjustment, but it didn't. I don't think it really suited their driving style as much as it did mine. But I feel like that helps me really save that right front and the right rear, because I mean, you can burn the right rear off here really easy. But I really try to focus on easy in, easy off. Try to save both the right front and the right rear, because if you burn the right front down, the right rear is going to fall in line pretty much behind it. So it's, I would say probably steering input, but more so throttle. But man, it's all about feel here, and if you get busy trying to race somebody or push somebody or trying to pass somebody, you're done. You kind of got to just stay in line, run your own race, and then when they slip up, try to make a move then. So.
Well, Greg, you're there. The points just came out. You're now 8 within the lead, or 8 to the lead, the title leader, that is, 9 to take the lead 2 weeks ago. I gotta think that your confidence is pretty high, certainly starting at least with Homestead. Getting a good finish at Homestead probably got to be the goal for the week, and then surviving what could have happened or what can happen at Talladega is probably the week, the plan for championship week. What are your thoughts coming in these next 2 races?
Yeah, we really have to go try to win Homestead or at least finish second, just to even have a shot. And we definitely can't finish behind Lionel, Michael, or Sam. So I guess the goal is to try to go win Homestead, try to put ourselves in a decent spot for Talladega, and then just let the chips fall where they may there. Talladega is a heck of a place to end the season. So
I know.
I don't know why. Whenever Riggin does the schedules, I don't know. Like tonight, almost turned into a fuel mileage race too. I got to have a talk with him. Like,
well, I'll tell you why Talladega was actually scheduled for earlier in the season, and I think it was going to be on Memorial Day. And I told him, I said, you know, I really don't want to work. I'm not working Memorial Day. I really don't want to work Memorial Day. I can imagine other people don't want to do racing on Memorial Day. And he's like, oh yeah. And I thought he would just move Talladega down a week, but instead he moved Talladega to the end of the race, because I think originally Homestead was the last race, and he just moved Talladega as the last race. So, yeah, you still might need to have a talk with Rigney about how his schedule. But yeah, having Talladega as the last race, you know, in theory, it sounds like a lot of fun. In practice, well, for those that actually have to practice it, I mean, experience it, it might be a whole different thing.
well, I mean, I've been trying to, like, you know, play you guys up and everything for broadcasting their races, but now that I know it's your fault, Gary, yeah,
it's not my fault. I was just telling, don't schedule on Memorial Day.
I would like to disclaim any responsibility for any changes to the schedule. That's all on Gary.
It's just like this next schedule. He had one scheduled, I think, or was going to go through Labor Day, and I just reminded him, hey, don't forget about Labor Day. So I don't know how that's going to impact the next one, but it's not my fault. Really, it's not.
Oh yeah, you already fessed up to it, so you got pinned a donkey there. I told Mike, I was like, man, with all these IndyCar guys, why didn't we go to Indianapolis on the last race? You know, I think that'd have been pretty cool. But man, Talladega is going to be a lot of fun, Gary. I appreciate it.
Oh, I actually, you know what? I would like to see Indy as well. In fact, you know, on that topic of seeing these guys on the Indy Oval this week for the first time in a couple years, that was nice to see. So maybe the next Xfinity season. I don't think the next truck season is going to have a race at Indy. Maybe IRP at best, but maybe the next Xfinity season we'll go to Indy. But congratulations, friends, sponsors, shout-outs, families, loved ones they want to say hi to before we let you go, sir.
Yeah, Freightliner, Sim Magic Sim Labs, and apparently with you having some kind of influence on the schedule, I think you need to go ahead and call Mike right now and change it. So, but we done made a deal. We're going to go to Indianapolis to Talladega, so that sounds great. And we'll see you at Homestead.
All right, man. We'll see you then. Congrats on the win number 6, and now up to 4th place in the points. 8 from the lead, 9 from taking it. Congrats. We'll see you in a week.
Thank you, guys. Have a good week.
All right. I'm not taking the blame on that one, though. Here we have the latest green flag run numbers. We had 1 caution for 3 laps, 147 laps a day. That gave us 97.959 percentage of green flag or laps this race. It was our first caution in 3 races. Last caution we had was at Bristol in round 9. This is round 12. And only 3 laps. So far this season, going into Homestead for round 13, we've had 10 cautions for a total of 45 laps. We've turned a total of 1,655 total laps this year, or this season, for a green flag percentage of 97.281%. So again, these guys continue to impress. And they tamed, I would say they tamed the track Too Tough to Tame tonight with only 1 caution for 3 laps.
Yeah, I don't know if you ever tame it, but Greg Evans came really close tonight. That was one of the more impressive displays of just pure management of a race. from Greg Evans. At times, he was not the fastest car.
No.
Lionel Callisto had the fastest lap.
With those overlapping pit strategies, definitely had comers and goers a lot in this race. And you talked about it at the beginning. That was going to be the case.
But he managed the race absolutely perfectly. And to win by a half a lap over a field like this one is an amazing achievement. So kudos to Greg Evans. It's more and more impressive to watch him each and every week. Doubly impressed with the battle between Sam Crowe and Michael Goodman for that final podium spot. Again, it just proves you don't have to run over each other to have a good race. As for me, I'm picking up stuff. I run the truck on Friday nights with some of my buddies from Black Magic Studios, and I learn something every time I watch one of these. So I definitely appreciate the opportunity to learn from some of the very best stock car drivers in the sim. And that's all I got, man. We'll see you next week. Black Magic Studios, Admin Box, P1 Broadcasting, Indy Alliance Racing. I got to thank all of them. And I'll let you carry us out, brother.
You got it. So that's it for tonight. Once again, your podium from Darlington. Greg Evans with his 6th win of the season. Lionel Callisto with a strong finish brings him within an eye shot of the lead. And Goodman, by hanging on for 3rd there over a very close finish with Sam Crowe, keeps the points lead by 1 point for one more week, coming to the penultimate week, as one of my peers in the broadcasting business like to say, next week at Homestead, Miami. So join us again next week for round 13 of the ISRA Xfinity Series as teams and drivers will take their talents to South Beach and tackle Homestead Miami Speedway. Coverage begins around 9:35 p.m. Eastern Time. Again, it's 9:35 p.m. Eastern. As always, find the correct time in your area. You can find everything here on YouTube at youtube.com/ what do we got? FTN. Just search FTN Broadcasting, would you? On youtube.com, and that will get you to the channel. And everything you need to know about the next race will be right there. We got the next 2 rounds already posted. They're ready to go. So all you need to do is click the notify me button, and you won't forget about the next race. You'll be notified with a bit of a pop-up there and the bell on the right corner of your screen. Now, as you know, the YouTube algorithm of the game is not easy, so please help support P1 and FTN with the weekly grind. Leave a comment below. Let us know your thought of tonight's race, and if you enjoyed tonight's coverage, support us by smashing like in the video. If you're new, click subscribe. You're why hit the bell for weekly reminders so you don't miss out on more of P1 and FTN's other iRacing programming, including make sure to check out their Road to Pro qualifying races that they have. Check those all out here on FTN Broadcasting. Track cams provided today by Whiplash Sim Cams. Thank you to Whiplash for being the official camera pack provider for P1 Broadcasting. To learn more about Whiplash, follow them on Twitter or also like them on Facebook. The links are in the description. So that's it for Mark Murphy, everyone here at P1, FTN, and the ISRA. I'm Gary Gotzo saying to all, good night, thanks for watching, and all men and women serving in the military and as first responders, Godspeed, God bless, and come home safe. Catch us again right here next week at Homestead Miami Speedway for the next race of the ISRA Xfinity Series. Good night, everyone.